I'm a teacher of the Old Testament, and very often when I've been lecturing or teaching on some aspect of the Old Testament, somebody will ask the question, yes, but what about the Canaanites? Because they are concerned about the violence, the destruction that happened at the conquest of Canaan. And so I felt it would be right to put into this book a whole section, it's actually part 2, called What About the Canaanites? Now, when Christians face that question, what do we do about the violence in the Old Testament, particularly at the time of Joshua? They are tempted to find a number of, I wouldn't say easy ways out, but ways around the problem. And so sometimes they say, well, this is all just in the Old Testament. And thank goodness we're now in the New Testament and we see God differently. And I say, well, that doesn't really work, because the Old Testament has a lot about the love of God, and the New Testament has a lot about the anger and judgment of God. So it can't just be done like that. Or sometimes people say, well, maybe it was all just the Israelites' idea, but they then attributed it to God, but it wasn't really God, it was just the Israelites. And again, I think that doesn't work if you read the text seriously. So in this chapter 4, I explore what I've called a number of dead ends. That is, ways of trying to deal with this problem, which I think don't in the end really solve it. So this is not the chapter for solutions, but perhaps for looking at some attempted solutions that I think really don't work.